Hello there and welcome to Reddit Tournament 3. I'm casting this live on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. I've got some unexpected free time on my hands, so I'm going to use it as a perfect opportunity to get back in the swing of things with casting, because there's a tournament going on. It's a tournament that I'm organising in the name of Reddit, just a different forum. Why, variety's the spice of life and all that. And we've got qualifying games going on right now, this week as we speak. I've got these replays in my inbox. I haven't seen them. I've already forgotten who sent me the email, so I can't remember who wins, which is pretty handy. And we've got Mr. Yippee and It's Dusty. Pretty decent players. They're competing to play Sturm Tiger Giap. I don't know how to say his name, but he is a seeded player. These guys are competing to play a seeded player. So it's like, who wants to die the most, or who wants to cause a really good upset and take this tournament by the horns and go on and F shit up. So we've got Mr. Yippee. He's the Soviet player in the north in this first game. He is a very good Soviet player, 53, top 100. And we've got It's Dusty, who's a very well-rounded player. He's got decent levels in both German and Soviet, and he's played similar amounts as well of both factions. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys do. Longer recently has been more of a German-friendly map. The reason being is the Soviets in fixed positions have always started in the north, which means this cutoff, if we switch to tactical map, this cutoff here is very, very vulnerable. Let's get off that. It's ugly with my overlay. Anyway, let's press play, because we're going to have to deal with the initial slow portion of the game. And let's talk about their loadouts. We've got Defensive Doctrine from It's Dusty, the German player in the south. I'm going to reiterate that for my own purposes. He's rocking Defensive Doctrine, which is a little bit underpowered, can throw people off guards. Very good. The trench ability is pretty nice if you want to put mortars into it to give yourself a little bit more security if you're going to use support weapons. Mechanized Assault, or the Askren Doctrine, pretty damn good, very, very fierce in the opening rounds, but doesn't offer too much in the later stages until you get the Tiger Tank. So it's sort of like all or nothing in the mid game. Tiger Tank. It's pretty good though. Fortified Armor Doctrine is the big brother of the what's the default one? It's a pretty similar to one of the default commanders, except you get an Elephant Tank Destroyer. It's a premium item. Interestingly enough, this tournament you can use any commanders you want. I just want, from an organizer of tournaments, I want it to just be as simplistic as possible and pure. If people want to use Soviet industry tactics, let them use it and let them go into pack fire. I just wanted all-out war, no ifing and ahhing, and no having to tell people why the balance is off. Just let the balance speak for itself and let the players counter the balance. Obviously a double conscript start. We've got this guy with guard rifle combined arm tactics, i.e. the skill plane doctrine. That was heavily used in SNF 5. He's also rocking shock rifle frontline tactics, shock troops, interestingly anti-tank gun ambush, which is the camouflaged. Yeah, he's gone for the Grens to cap the fuel. Always good, so the initial combat engineer doesn't have to suffer with that. MG42's laying on fire on these initial conscripts here. And we've got the conscripts possibly coming from flank. They'd have to oorah if he wanted to catch up at this point though. And his other commander is Soviet Shock Army, which is very similar to Guard Rifle Army, except it has shocks and the heavy mortar, but no PPSHs. Good use of the Grens. He's covering the flank, not fully though. See if no Molotovs have not been researched, and the MG42 is going to have to soft retreat, whilst the Grens get some nice kills on those conscripts. Elsewhere, we've got these Grens in the north, so he's sacrificed a Gren squad, but unfortunately, by sacrifice, he's not. As a German player, you want everything to be in the centre, so this guy has left his cutoff wide open. Hopefully, he can get these pioneers into that circle, get the pioneers into that circle, and there he goes. He's stopped the countdown. He's stopped the countdown, so he's kept his captured territories. That was a crucial moment. Taking these conscripts north. He possibly could have gone all out for the cut-off in this position. How many conscripts have we got? We've got 4 conscripts. Good little opening. Going back to our German friend, which is It's Dusty. He's gone for 2 MG42s, which is very good longer with the wide open spaces. I'll stay as a German player for quite a while now. I know the blue versus red can get disorientating. Nice little engagement in the north here. We have a failed Molotov, so these players are of a decent standard where Molotovs are kind of a moot point some of the time. MG42 currently getting blocked by that hedge, not the greatest of positioning, but he's going to cover himself for this Gren here, who's already taken a kill. Nice dodge, so that's already 50 munitions wasted. For the Soviet player, 2 Molotovs have missed. Putting pressure on the munitions, that's always good to do for the Soviet player. The Germans have always had a early game munitions bottleneck and then a late game fuel bottleneck. It shifts. Soviets, it's always a manpower bottleneck because they have bigger squads and they have to reinforce all the time. Well, obviously fuel's all ever important. It'd be interesting to see if he's going to research the little women that come out and fix your men's, because he's got quite a few squads that have got low health at the moment. He's rocking a very decent start from both players. We've got 4 main units and 1 conscript, although we have now got shocks entering the fray. This is going to be interesting with this low health Gren. Yes, retreat straight away. Excellent play from our German friend. Interesting little dynamic here. We've got the Gren going for the cut-off and the combat engineer this time protecting the cut-off. So we've had the utility units of each squad. An URA would be useful here. Oh, could have been a lot worse for that combat engineer. Still could be. No, he gets behind the green cover wall to his MG42 in a very advanced position here. Laying on fire on the shocks, that was absolutely necessary, but now unfortunately the conscripts obviously going to force it off the field. MG42 doing some capping. I think, just as a general tip, more players should see MG42s as capping units. They are the ultimate capping unit. They can cap whilst, you know, being in a position of cutting everything else from getting to it. Still looking, yes, Molotovs have been researched, obviously we know that. Forgot about that bit. Because that's the first one he's landed, I think. It's easy to forget. Here we go, the PG squad is now going to push things off the field. So we've got the interesting dynamic of shocks versus PG. PGs have a higher damage rate per second, but obviously shocks have the extra 2 men's in their squad. So that's always an interesting dynamic to think about. Yep, the PGs are going to put some VP pressure on. The Germans have been suffering for VPs so far. Obviously it's tournament level play. So, you know, you've got to think about VPs. Because if it's going to be longer, which isn't the decider, if it goes to a decider, it's going to be Kolodny Firma, which is arguably a much more balanced map. Ooh, these PG-42s could have been a bit worse for wear. There's already 1 man down. They're going to need a health reinforcement in the base, of which there is none. There's a half-track to reinforce on the field, but look at these low-health squads. You've got a PG on nearly half health, Gren just over half health, and that PG that's been only lost 1 man, but got hit a lot by those shots. He's researching anti-tank grenades. Interesting. Could be a nice little soft counter to the half-track. Not a bad choice at all. Shock's doing some damage in the north, pushing the pioneers off, and hopefully we'll have a double cap here. We'll have the combat engineers go for this. No, the combat engineers are going further afield. They're going to try and lay a teller. Not a teller. These are the Soviets. Obviously they're going to lay a normal anti-tank mine. What are they called? They have some acronym designation. I'm waiting for him to retreat so I can see what it's called. I hate doing that. TM35. That's one of the first times I've ever had to say that in my entire life. There's a nice Molotov. Oh, 2 dead straight away. Oh, it's set up on its retreat. That's bad news. Could have been worse. I think he'll get out of there. That's okay. Going to switch to the German player for a second. This will be a little bit disorientating for both of us. So these PPSHs have come into full force. Interestingly enough, hang on a second. How do you see that? Yeah, the German's gone for the defensive doctrine. Interesting. I'm expecting he's going to get the pack, the big pack. You know the one. Oof. Straight away it's been hit, so those anti-tank grenades are going to do some damage. Oh, but the conscripts, yep. That retreat path could have been worse. Imagine, I reckon that retreat was a choice between that fence hole and that fence hole there. Left and right, so, you know, it could have been a lot worse. For you noob players, no offence, interestingly, let's just catch this. I'll make that point in a second. Oh yeah, he's had to retreat. There's nothing he could do. This VP point, this cutoff does not matter if this VP point is inactive. You just saw that that dynamic come into play just now. He's got a pack 40 out, 7.5 centimetres. I just read what was on the screen. Yeah, he's got it out anyway, so that's a good counter for anything the Soviet player's thinking of. Let's have a look what's happening over here. The PGs are getting... yeah... they haven't been as effective as you'd want them to be. They've only got 3 kills. Just about got veterancy, but mostly due to damage. You get 25% veterancy due to damage. Only just about managed to push that one conscript squad off the field before having to retreat itself. You'd be wanting a PG squad to push at least 2 other squads off the field before being forced to retreat. Some good veterancy here though. We've got the LMG Gren squad with 2 bar vent, which gives it advanced rifle training and unlock the field aid veteran ability, which I rarely see anybody use. In fact, I think I've never used it. But then again, I'm hardly a high level player. Half track with 7 nifty little kills being repaired, so that's still in the field of play. And we've got the Tankovi battalion command up. So this pack is going to prove quite useful. I don't think we're going to see Panzer Shreks on this Gren anytime soon, what with only having 70 munitions. Oh, the Molotovs are finally starting to come into play. With a bigger army, you'd find that decent players, such as these guys, are going to have their micro suffering a little bit more in the mid-game. Oh, this is not good. We've got the T-34 and the half-track in the same arena of play, and this Gren's looking worse for wear, so either the T-34 takes out the Gren or it takes out the half-track. Calling it now, and the anti-tank grenade goes in, so it's crippled. The T-34 is going to take easy pickings of that. We've got a flank coming in on the left. Excellent play from Mr. Yippee-ki-yay. Good Molotov. The Molotovs are starting to take effect now. Early ones did not go in. The pack is just blindly going into fire. It's Dusty must be face palming at the moment. He's having an absolute micro crisis of large proportions. Do not take it with your shocks, please. Please take it with your conscripts. Not many people would like to see that. Interestingly, he could have gone for the attack move, which kills support weapons, not attack ground, attack move. But he's taken it, which is a very aggressive, and he's gambled on it because if these units had come out 15 seconds earlier, that pack would still be in German hands. He has yet to research escalate to battle phase 2. I'd argue that his next protocol is the Panzer Shrek, which goes in and gets a frontal armor penetration on the T-34. You got the shocks though doing some much needed damage. They were in a dangerous position, and if the LMG had stayed stationary, perhaps they could have got that shock whittled down to only a few men. Germans have finally recaptured their fuel on the left, and are now going to reapply pressure in the centre. I think we've given the Germans enough attention. We're going to go back to Mr. Yippee and take stock of what he's got. He's got his pack, which... Does he have healing women's yet? No, he does not have healing women's. I'd be expecting to take that pack back to base to reinforce, though. Would have been good to heal it as well, because the conscripts that manned that pack didn't have much health when they did so. Not the best rifle grenade I've ever seen. It only killed one man, and the rest of the squad looked pretty healthy. With no pack on the field, the T-34 can be a little bit more bolshy, but it does have to watch out for these Panzerschrecks. One Shrek bounce, one Shrek hit. A little bit worse than that could be hoped for. Up here we've got a little battle between... Yes! Panzerschrecks, Panzer Grenadiers probably going down, and they did go down! Oh, it's all going wrong. All going wrong for It's Dusty. This play is a little bit rusty. This mod is very dusty. And we've got more PPSH pressure, but obviously you can't do much against an MG42. These MG42s do have Striper Veteran Siege. He's done well with them. It's just as, you know, he's had 2 squad losses now. He's lost a pack and a Panzer Grenadier. Not what you'd want to see. Another Molotov goes in. He nearly lost his... I had to stop talking then because he nearly did lose it. He nearly lost his Grenadier, his Pride and Joy, his 2-vet LMG Grenadier. He's going to get his fuel taken off with a Vet 2 conscript. Little tip again for beginner players. Always try and cap with your least strong troops. But this guy's got Vet 2 on 3 of his conscript squad, so he's, you know, he can afford to cap with Vet 2 troops. Good shock nade, making the MG42 reposition itself because the gunner got killed. In terms of VPs, it's looking absolutely, you know, devastatingly strong for the Soviet player. It's something... Oh, he's running into danger with that conscript. He saw it, yeah. He's just walking into the flames. I think these flames are still active. Do they do health damage? No, they're just graphical flames. Oh my, that pack nearly killed the conscripts then. Oh, it nearly did as well. That would have been an amazing shot, because it's all so low health. The splash damage from a pack shot could have done that. I've seen it happen. Zis definitely would. Zis seems to have better splash damage. He's seen the pack, finally. He's realised the damage. I think that was waypointed to come onto the field from behind. So the German players finally doing what the German players do best, which is concentration of units. But if this conscript were to cap this VP, which I think the shift commanders failed, that could have been a lot better, because obviously this game could be over and done with if the VP pressure is carried on to be applied. Shock units ensuring the central VP stays within German hands. Shrek kills 2 men. But running from the shock squad. Perhaps they could have opted for a grenade of sorts instead. Having 83 munitions, perhaps that's something they could have thought about. Still... Oh, the women's are out now, the women's are out. Women's confirmed for CO2. This pack, again, is getting pressure put on it. He's doing the right thing, though. He's reversing the pack, which keeps it within green cover, the shield there. But, unfortunately, nothing can be done. He could have attacked ground on that pack, then. Oh, instead this could be what worse? Will the pack get a shot off? No, the time it took the pioneers to set themselves up and get acquainted with their new weapon, the T-34s managed to get away. Oh, the Pride and Joy's lost its LMG. The Tigers are! Panzerkampfwagen 6. Got a Faustin on the T-34 as well. One T-34 looks to be down. Pax getting shot blocked by the house. Kill some combat engineers by accident. Abandoned. Attack move necessary. Oh, shock troops taking losses, that's fine. Abandon unit! You need to attack ground. Come on, Dusty. Panzer Grenadiers could get a decent kill. No! Shock Grenadiers with the grenadier. Not shock grenadiers, shock troops with the grenade. Oh. That could have been a lot worse though, if they weren't stunned from the previous. Yay, the T-34 is still operational. Come on, man. You haven't killed it. I'm digging that camo. I am digging that camo. Don't know enough about the skins of this game to know which camo that is. I'm going to call it Elite Forest Pond camo. That's what I call it if I was wrong, to sell more things. Target weak points is a possibility now for that pack in Soviet hands. RAM is also a distinct possibility. We've got a floppy gun and a damaged engine. Bouncing with the pack still. Perhaps we could see a rifle grenade. Yeah, the anti-tank grenade goes in. Sturmovik close air support available. No munitions actually available there. Tiger's down. This is not looking good for the German player. His one point of salvation has now been extinguished. T-34 down. But obviously they're worth a hell of a lot less than a Tiger tank. Little skirmish in the north here. Oh! That 3 grenadiers! And they're dead. To be honest, I think I'd pretty much call it GG for the Soviet player against the German player at this point. I don't think the German... Yeah, he's thrown in the towel. It's Dusty. Let's reacquaint ourselves with these gentlemen. Yeah, Mr. Yippee-ki-yay was the top 100 Soviet player. It's Dusty who had the 2 ranks within the 300 range. But I still thought his play was pretty damn impressive. He made some crucial errors. Notably, for me, it was not shooting that abandoned tank. That could have been a lot worse. But mainly squad preservation. I think he lost a Panzer Grenadier here. And he's watching the stream. He's watching the stream. Oh, God. I've got, yeah, God. I've got chat enabled in the game. So this technically is spoiling the series, but considering this is just a warm-up stream, it doesn't really matter. But I just for a moment thought I was streaming to 2,000 people, but I'm not. It doesn't matter. It's just me and Mr. Yippee-ki-yay watching his game. Yeah, that was interesting. I haven't got any scenes available to stop the in-game. I haven't got any videos to play you. We're just going to go straight on with the second game. But yeah, needless to say, there are more games to come from this particular series. And this time we get to see It's Dusty play as the Russians, and Mr. Yippee-ki-yay play as his least favourite faction, the Germans. It's going to be an interesting dynamic, to say the least. You can see we've got fixed positions enabled on the map. You see this 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty damn crucial for tournament play. You always, as a matter of tradition, hang on, let me do my little thing. I like to have the camera tilted for a cast, because that allows you to have a bigger plane of view. And people don't seem to notice. I've always kind of tried to do that, ever since today. Yeah, so what I was saying, which I alluded to in the first game, is as a matter of tradition, the Soviet player always has the North. It used to be the US versus Wehrmacht. Now it's the Soviets versus Ost here. And obviously, North is slightly weaker position, some might argue. The good thing about the South is it used to give you great munitions coverage. You had this high munitions point. But now they've opened up this bush. It allows this munition point and this cutoff to be harassed a whole lot more. And now they've given a bit of green cover here. You'd hope to see a little bit more defensive capability of your cutoff. Mr. Yippee-ki-yay, who called his cast a disaster, not a caster, this series a disaster for him, so you know, that doesn't sound too good, but he's already one up in the series, and I can't remember who emailed me these games, so I don't know. I can't remember who wins. Which is pretty damn good if I'm casting it, because it keeps me in suspense. He's going for the Askren dynamic here, which is going to be very interesting. We've got the Askrens coming in the south and the Vanilla Grens coming in the north. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting little two-pronged attack. We've got the Soviets, obviously, with conscripts. Always conscripts. 3 conscripts. 4 soon to be, most likely. The combat engineers versus the pioneers. Both have yellow cover, which is, you know, this is going to be a long engagement. We could probably cut away from that for a good 2 minutes and not a single man will die. The Grens are going to push the combat engineers away though. So interestingly, he's gone for 1 Askren, 2 Vanilla Grens, which, and an MG42 just queued up, and he hasn't dodged the first Molotov. We saw Dusty dodge both of the first Molotovs in the first game, so that doesn't bode well. This Askren's putting early pressure on this conscript. Conscript going straight for the house.
Grenadiers! We claimed it for the fatherland!
So yeah, I don't want to cast anymore. I want a break. Oh god, it's so tiring. This is why it's called a warm-up. I wonder how many viewers I have at this point. I'm gonna predict 4. Yes, I have 4. Excellent stuff. I might just play a game. But yeah, that's why I think they have breaks in SNF, and it's good that I'm gonna have to the 3 people watching this I'm gonna have people helping me on not this Saturday, the Saturday after. I'm gonna have I think Ipekai Fung expressed interest and Complexity too, so they're much better players than I, and they can offer much better insight. With my casting, I'm good when I'm feeling it, but as soon as I get tired or get bored, I just ugh. It's quite fun to do now and again, but when you hear yourself say something stupid, it just it gets steadily worse from that point. Oh god. As I've cast 1 game of the series, what I'm going to do now is stop the stream.